Now, what's that say on the screen, y'all? I'm looking for the answers. It says I owe $17,000 on a car worth $5,000. Okay, this should be interesting. Watch this before you sign for a vehicle.
So basically, I went in wanting to trade my car in that I owe a lot of money on. Let's just be transparent. I owe $17,000 on this car, and it's only worth about like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 max. Because it just has so much negative equity. Like I was so desperate for the car when I signed for it that I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. And don't get me wrong, like I love my car. It was the car that I've always wanted, but my credit wasn't the best at the time. I was making the money, but I didn't have the credit. And my friend's mom, who's like a mother to me, she decided that she would co-sign for it so that way I could get the car.
You know what's interesting about that? Your own parents won't even co-sign on your car. They're too scared that you're going to miss a payment and mess up their credit. And they don't want to be held responsible in the event that you don't make your car payments on time. Because that means that they have to make your car payments or face repossession.
She decided that she would co-sign for it so that way I could get the car. And the intention was she was going to sign for me to get the car. And then as soon as possible, I was going to refinance the car so that way I could take her off the loan. Well, immediately after signing, the car just wasn't worth what it was sold for. So I couldn't find any lender who would want to take over this loan. So basically me and her are stuck on this car loan until I pay it down or pay it off. And basically I was just curious. I was like, well, let me go to a dealership and see, because it's been a few years now. I was like, let me see if a dealership will put me in a new loan where they'll just add the negative equity to a new loan. Because it happens. There's dealerships that can make it happen.
Yeah.
And let's just like see if I can get a loan under my name and just add the negative equity to it so that way I can get my friend's mom off the loan. Turns out there's just so much negative equity on this car that the dealership rejected the trade. And they said, unfortunately, we can't take this car, but this is still an offer for you to sign. Like, this is what you would pay each month if you still want the car. And I was going to get like a Tesla. I was test driving one. I was like, this is really nice. And there was a deal on like electric vehicles. They'll take $4,000 off and put it towards your down payment if you get an electric vehicle, because there's a tax credit for the electric vehicles that they're selling. And I spoke to my friend's mom. I was like, so they're saying I can sign today. I would be approved by myself, which wasn't the case before. I needed a cosigner in the past. But now I'm like, oh, I got approved for myself. But I would still be responsible for my current car because they're not going to take it as a trade-in. So I asked her, I was like, do you want, because she's looking for a new car. I was like, do you want to just take over for this car and I get a new car?
So it says here on the screen, he owes $17,000 on a car that's worth $5,000. And he went to the person who co-signed on the car, which was the friend's mom, and said, hey, do you want to just take over for this car? $17,000 for a car that is currently worth $5,000. No, I want you to pay it off. That's what I would have said. Matter of fact, don't even worry about it. Don't even get the Tesla. If I was the mom, I would have said, look, we need to take this a day at a time. I probably would have been like, dang, why did I co-sign on this in the first place? Because now he's like, do I want to take over on a car that he done ran into the ground? No, I'm just being honest, y'all. I know that I can't be the only one that's thinking that. And here's my thing. It doesn't even sound like anything is wrong with the car. Why is he getting another car? Why not just pay this one off? Hey, you learned some stuff along the way. You made some mistakes, probably bought the car overpriced. And depending on the year, it might have made sense. You know, like during 2020, all these cars were marked up like way past what they were supposed to be. There were shipping issues with certain parts on the cars. So these car dealers were out here selling all these cars way overpriced. And they were getting it. And a year later, people were looking at the Kelley Blue Book, realizing their car wasn't worth nearly as much and they have negative equity. He's not the only one this happened to. I'm sure it happened to a lot of people. But here's my thing. I just feel like pay it off and ride it till the wheels fall off. Why you need another car? I'm trying to understand. He's like, I like the Tesla. And the thing is, he originally said that he liked the car. This is the car that he always wanted. So I'm trying to understand, when is it ever enough for some people? Now you want to get another car loan? Golly. Y'all don't believe in just paying off the car and that just be it? I don't know. I'm trying to tell y'all, not having a car note is one of the freeingest experiences you could have.
And she made a good point. She's like, you don't want to get yourself out of a bad deal for another bad deal.
Right. Thank you, Mom. I've been vindicated.
She was like, look at the numbers. figure out if they're offering you a good deal. And to be honest, they weren't. Like, it would have been another expensive car payment, high interest rate. So it's like, what's the point of leaving a bad situation for another bad situation?
Why not just keep the car you already have? What? It doesn't sound like it's broken. Yeah, you have negative equity. Okay, yeah, that sucks. You're already in the loan though. And this is why I say financial education and financial literacy is important. See, he's trying to do stuff that makes sense to him, like, oh, I'm just gonna get another car. The older woman is like, hey, you going from bad to bad. Make it make sense. And I agree.
So I decided, I was like, because I can't trade in my current car for a new car, that just voids, like, my curiosity was, what would my car payment look like if I were to add negative equity to a new car loan? And they can't trade my car in. So it's like, that defeats the whole purpose of what I was looking for today. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I can't sign for a new car today because y'all aren't able to take my old car for a trade-in. Like, it defeats the whole purpose of why I came here today.
Right.
And they just kept trying to get me to sign. They were like, well, I spent all these hours with you. You even initialed this. And he had me initial something that said, if you're able to get me 0 down today, I'll get a new car. I just initialed it because I was like curious, like, what will my new payments look like? And I'm just like, well, this wasn't legally binding. Like, what you had me sign isn't a legal contract. So I said, y'all aren't able to take my car for a trade-in. That literally is why I brought my car in today, because I was hoping y'all would be able to take my car for a trade-in. But y'all are telling me there's just too much negative equity on it that y'all aren't even willing to take it. So I was like, no, I'm not going to sign for a car today. And it's like, they just kept trying to get me to sign something. And I'm just like, no. So yeah, all in all, this teaches me, like, all those years, like, few years ago, I should not have signed for a new car.
Look, I know it sucks to go through your first car buying experience, or if that was his first car buying experience, and being like, dang, I really messed up. I got. I shouldn't have did that. Honestly, it happens to more people than you know. It happens to most people that don't have somebody that's willing to co-sign for them or put the car in their name. If you are 18 with no credit and you want a specific type of car, more times than not, you about to get hit over the head with your interest rate being high. You don't have anything to show that you would actually be a good person to loan money to and that you can be trusted to pay it back. Luckily for him, his friend's mom, of all people, co-signed on a car for him. I wouldn't have did it personally. I wouldn't have did it. But that was very nice of her. But you see how this could have backfired? Like, in the event that he didn't have that money, she's responsible for paying for that car. Meanwhile, he don't even sound satisfied with the car. And it sounds like he likes the car, but he wants a Tesla, or he wanted a Tesla. Obviously, that's out of the table because he wasn't able to get the trade-in. But if he was able to do the trade-in, he probably would have just tacked on that negative equity and had even more to pay off on that new Tesla. And I want to give a few tips to some adults. Do y'all know that y'all can put your children on your card as an authorized user? I'm not saying everybody should do this. For the ones who are responsible with their credit cards and actually make their payments on time and want to be an asset to their children as they're getting into the age of, hey, I'm going to become an adult. I'm going to start trying to buy a house, try to get a car, all these sort of things that come with adulthood. For the ones that care, you can literally call your bank and be like, hey, put my child on there as an authorized user. Don't give them the credit card, but you help them build the credit. You could be doing this, like, they could be 8, they could be 10, and you could be doing this for a whole 8 years before they even turn 18. So when they turn 18, they have good credit. Now, just think about this. What is the use of you as the parent having good credit all these years, and then your child turned 18? You know they credit finna be bad. You know you don't have no car for them. You know you don't have nothing to offer them to help them. Some of y'all aren't even going to co-sign. This is a great option. You don't have to then co-sign on any loans because now your child has built credit. You help them build the credit, though. They literally just wake up 18, go out, and hey, they might have an 800 credit score. All because you were doing what you were supposed to do responsibly with said credit cards, loans, or whatever the case may be. And again, I would not do this if you are irresponsible and your credit score looks shot. Help your children out. Then when they turn 18, they don't got to go to the best friend's mom trying to get a cosigner. And in the car dealership, looking at these interest rates like, dang, this is high. How am I supposed to do it? Why am I getting hit with a 19%? Well, maybe because you don't have enough credit. Everybody knew you was finna turn 18. Nobody set you up. I'm just trying to help somebody out.
Because now I'm stuck with this like $10,000, $11,000 negative equity that I have to pay.
Yeah.
Because like no one will take it. Even if I were to sell the car for $10,000, I'm still going to owe at least $7,000 out of pocket. So like I really f***ed myself getting this car. And I feel bad that my friend's mom is stuck to this car loan too. So it just taught me today. I was like, I'm just going to have to figure out how to pay for this car.
And that's why I said she shouldn't did it. He even knows that, hey, I put her in a bad situation. He's not outright saying it, but she is stuck. And he's stuck too. Until that loan is paid off, they're both stuck. But at least the car still works. It sounds like your car's still working. What's the problem? You're blessed. You're blessed that it's not just negative equity and your car don't work. Whoo! You ever ran into them folks? Their car is shot. It don't move, broke down, beyond repair. And they still got to pay that negative equity and they need another car. I've ran into people with that situation. That's that hurt. That they be hurt about it. Bless their souls.
Because I owe it. And it'd be different if I was on it by myself. I could just surrender the car and pay whatever difference, whatever they sell this car for, just pay the difference.
He's talking about a repo, y'all. When he said, I could just let it go. I could just surrender it. Let him come get it. Come get it. Come get your car. But you see, the problem with that is that also has negative effects on your credit score. And the car's only worth 5. They can only go in the market and sell it for 5. And that's if it's in good condition. So you know what will happen with that 7 that they weren't able to recoup? It goes on, like, that's a ding on your credit. And on my other channel, I talked about this because there was somebody like, I got repoed 3 times and she didn't see a problem with it. But meanwhile, she's not able to get good interest rates, probably because she got repoed 3 times and she don't see a problem with it. And the more you owe, the worse it's probably going to be on your credit score.
And it would affect my credit. But the fact that I have my friend's mom on this car loan too, like, I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to fuck her credit up. So I have to pay it back. And this is just a lesson to y'all. Like, your car salesmen know what kind of deal they're putting you in. So be careful what you're signing because the car salespeople don't give a fuck.
No, they don't. They are looking out for themselves. They're trying to line their pockets. They are in the business of selling cars. They are not in the business of financial literacy. They aren't here to educate you on, hey, what is the best financial decision to make according to what you can afford, what may make sense logically. They're not there for that. They're there to sell cars. Point blank, period. Y'all expecting them to be, like, you should have told me it was going to be rough out here. No, they're not going to do that. That's what the parents are for. That's where the adults in your life need to step in because they know you don't know what the heck is going on at these car dealerships because they didn't know either. They walked in there and said, hey, I want something shiny that I like, that rides clean, and I'm sitting up high and everybody's jealous of me when they see me pulling up. But the adults around know what a high APR really means. They know, hey, it's going to be harder to pay off this car. Y'all know what it means to go in a car dealership with no cosigner. Y'all know what all these things mean because a lot of y'all have experienced them. So this is why you need to educate the youth on what they're about to be up against. Because if you don't, they're walking into a dark alley just like you were about to get jumped. Why not help them? Why not warn them? I don't understand. What is the use of having all these years and knowledge up on people if you ain't gonna help nobody out? Just watching the kids fall off a cliff.
Don't sign it. Like, unless you know that you have a good percentage on it. Like, if you owe like 19, 18, 19, 20% on the car, do not fucking sign it. I know the car seems nice now, but in a few years, the car is going to be worth way less than what you signed for, and you're not going to be able to get a refinance. So you're going to be stuck with a big debt.
And guess what? You're going to be paying that first year, and you're going to call the bank like, hey, how much did I pay off? They're going to tell you nothing. Then you're going to be like, wait, I've been paying almost a year. I should have made a dent in that, right? No, because the higher that interest rate is, the longer it's going to take you to pay off that car. And unless you're just ready to pay it all off outright, which a lot of people are not, you're about to pay way more on that car than what is probably registering in your head because of the interest and how long it's going to take. And it could be good or bad, depending on how much the car is worth and depending on how high your interest rate is. And you're making the monthly payments, the bare minimum payments. You're not making extra payments. Yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to take you a while to pay it off. That's the trap. That is the trap. A lot of y'all are like, I can make the monthly payments. I can afford it. For how long? What if you lose your job? What if you have to move? What if there's any sort of life circumstance to where you are not able to put as much money towards your car? Will you still be able to pay it? You got to think long term when it comes to these cars. You can't just think for right now, oh, I got a job. It pays me X amount of money. I should be able to make the minimum payment. No, that's how people get repoed. That's how people get caught up. Because the next thing you'll hear is, well, life happened. I'm struggling. I don't know how I'm going to pay my car note. Guess who ain't going to help you? The car dealer. They don't care. They already sold you the car. They already made their money. Now you jumping through hoops considering a repo. And it's very sad to see people go through this. This is why I like to make these sort of videos, to give the knowledge out.
Unless you have money to pay towards the principal, don't sign it, because I made that mistake. And now I'm stuck with a car that owes a ton of money.
And I quickly want to talk about that last part where he said, unless you got money to pay towards the principal is like this. The car is $30,000. That's the principal, $30,000. So if you got $30,000 in cash and you paid $30,000 towards the principal, you paid off the car. And because we got all this new technology, I went to ChatGPT just to put in the example that we're talking about here so you guys can kind of visualize why this is very important for you to understand these numbers. Now, so I asked ChatGPT, if you have a $30,000 car with a 20% interest rate for 4 years, how much are you paying for the car over the course of 4 years? And you know, ChatGPT did its thing. And I didn't even have to do the math. And it says here, we'll assume this is a standard amortized auto loan with fixed monthly payments, not simple interest. Okay, it says here that the monthly payment for that car with the example we used above would be $914 a month. Sounds kind of on point for a lot of people's car notes, right? Okay, now stay with me. The total paid over 4 years would be $43,877, right? But check this out. What does that say there? The interest paid would be $13,877. So no, even though you think you bought your car for $30,000, once you factor in that APR, what you really should be saying is, in 4 years, I will have paid $43,877 because that's what you're going to pay if you make minimum payments, which again, most people are making minimum payments on their car note because they're like, hey, I got bills to pay. I got other stuff to do. They're not rushing to pay off their car. Now, I want to quickly go over some of these comments. It says, if you have gap insurance, it would be a shame if it was totaled or stolen. Oh my. Okay, I'm not advocating for any crime or any fraud because y'all are tiptoeing around that range. Another comment here says, I mean this in the oldest sibling kind of way. She already helped you massively by co-signing for you. And I agree. Asking her if she wants to pay $17,000 for a $5,000 car while you get a new one and off the hook is really insulting. You know what? I wouldn't even say it's insulting, but I can definitely see where they're coming from. Because I said the same thing. Why would I want to take over a loan for $17,000 and the car is only worth $5,000? And I'm a grown woman with my own bills, with my own car. I don't need your hand-me-down car. I was trying to help you out. That's how I see it. But again, he's young. He probably ain't looking at it that way. And somebody else here says, why don't you keep the car? Pay extra so it's paid off faster. Exactly, because then you can make those payments towards the principal. You have a working car. You don't need a new one. And I'm trying to understand why he needed this Tesla so bad. Negative equity only matters if you sell. And that's true. Just pay it off and be done with it. No car loan can help you save money, stack your bread, and then go get the Tesla. And somebody here says, okay, but what car is it? And he says that the car in question here is a Jeep Grand Cherokee, aka my dream car, Summit model, which has all the bells and whistles. Don't care. Since it was your dream car, keep it. And I want to know, why do people get the quote unquote dream car, and then when they get it, the dream car ain't dream carring enough for them? Now you want a Tesla. The Tesla wasn't even the dream car. Then you said you got it with all the bells and whistles. Is there not enough shiny things already in the car? I'm perplexed. I just think this is the classic case of him being young and maybe he just wants what he wants because I'm not understanding what is the use of a new car when you have a working, functioning one, especially when you already are going to be stuck with this negative equity regardless. I say this in the nicest way possible, y'all. Just get yourself out the bad situation first before you start digging yourself into another one. But I need to know what y'all think about this. Have you ever got into some hiccups because you had negative equity on a car that you own? Do you think he should trade in this car and get the Tesla, or do you think he should stick with what he got? But let me know, do you have any car payments? We have to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.